Welcome to Mystic Moons. Beware and aware. Awa. Right now, we're going to have messages from Spirit. I was asleep, and then I woke up, and I got this feeling inside of me that I couldn't shake off. So I decided to come and speak to others who have this feeling, or could have this feeling. So I once again welcome you to Mystic Moons. Beware and aware. So many things are happening in the world of now, the now. You may have heard about what is now. Well, the now is complicated. The now, it seems as though in 3 weeks or so, or less, give or take a week, we've gone through some sort of gate of which we can no longer deny certain things. No matter if we say, this is making me feel uneasy, this is making me feel queasy. We can't, that's irrelevant now because we have passed almost a dimensional portal. We have gone through a gate, a dimensional gate, or we can perhaps, some of us are still going through this gate. And what is this gate? It's called aware or beware. We can feel chills inside of us about what is this space? What is this feeling? What is this queasiness that we all feel? Like we're being told one thing, however, we know that it's a lie. It's a lie. What we're being told is not to be trusted. So then we know our basic DNA takes over and we learn to be aware or beware. We know something around, something that is bigger, larger, more, taller, darker. There are lots of darker things in this timing, in this period, in this space. And should we be aware or should we beware? Those are strange questions. Should we take heed or shall we? I didn't see that. There's too many things being played. There's too many people being played. Sometimes you look and you watch people and you go, is that a real person? Did he or she just say that? In my eyes, did they see that? Now, you can find strange people in the supermarket, on the street. You can find strange people broadcasted nationwide, globally strange people. And you can think of, my goodness, the arrogance, the hubris. The what? What did that person just say? What? Can you believe it? Can you actually believe it? And then some people think no matter what they say, it's interesting. And all they have to do is say it. And they have, yeah. I believe it. You know, something's wrong when people lose that vital chord of reality. And then you think, because you know why they can lose it? Because reality is flexible, because they have crossed over to someplace that is weird as hell. Weird as heck. Hello, people. Hello. Now you wonder, what can you possibly have to be aware of? And what can you possibly For one thing, there are portals, there are entities, there are so many things that are crossing over. There are glitches. Do you ever notice glitches? Glitches. You watch a video and you go, okay, okay. But then if you take that same video that has 6,000, 6,000,000 views, you look at it. It could be about anything these days, but something controversial. And you look at it and you slow it down. If you have the equipment, you can slow it down easily. And then you see faces and bodies intertwining. You can see duplicates. You can see the clone tools. You could see that this is not what it seems to be. And then you have to wonder, why, just why is this happening? Why are people doing these things? Why? What is the purpose? And then you can say, they're not just scamming. And no, they're not just scamming. They have a purpose in mind. And the purpose is the deceiver is here. You know, when you take a time that people are just bellowing predictions, walking into theater, walking into, I can do that. I can do that. Okay. So, and then what they can do is so bizarre. You got to go, huh? Huh? Then again, and they make you want to question. So I can just see besides the strangeness of the hour, the strangeness of the period that we all are living and breathing. And then you often wonder, why did they say that? Why did they do that? For what purpose? What purpose do they have in mind? Then we dig and we have to find, let's see, weak. They look for a weakness that we humans, the yin yang, might have. Who's looking for a weakness? Space aliens? Rich people? Bored people? Crazy people. Weak, crazy people. Now, are weak, crazy people looking for you, me, or are we looking to see, are we watching the weak and the crazy? Should be aware. You should be aware of crazy. You should be aware. You should be aware of weak. It's strange, strange. Even the fact that we've been told certain things about leaders, how they're flawed. Macron, we hear many things about Macron. And we think, is this real? Or is this some sort of plot? But then we see him acting away. We see leaders do not depicting their constituents, their people's wishes. They seem to be following some sort of crazy. And then you wonder, and what are we just tagging along for the ride? I mean, if somebody wants to imitate Nostradamus, who are we to say anything, right? Who are we? Who are we? Are we weak because we follow and just watch? Are we strong if we like mouth out? You know, if you think about the advancements of science, they always say science, the scientists. I have met scientists who actually think that they're God. And they even brag that people think that they're God. No, I've never met a scientist that I thought was a God. Never. I thought he was usually they're like old European men, usually old German men, the ones that I have met anyway. Some are nice, some are like crusty, but they're interesting. But I never thought they were God. We're in a new age. A new age. Hello. How are you? We're in a new age of awareness. We're in a new age. And that new age isn't supposed to trickle down to us, you and me. Oh no, but it has. Somewhere along the line, it has. You know, if you take prophecies. You take stories. It's the common people like you and I who get to play the parts. The rich man, the rich woman, the king and the queen. Yes, there are stories about them, but they seem to be always searching for something. And what are they searching for? Love, of course. But their love is different. The love of what? The love of wealth? The love of what? That's a question you have to ask. And what do you say? Yes, you're searching for love, but will they find it? After they love their gems, they're this, they're that, they're this, they're that. What I'm trying to say is our power, our time is here. Of course, it's always been here because here has no time. Well, how I am from the United States. Nice to know you from your Iranian. Now, once again, I pick up plot. What is this plot? Is this a plot to keep us stupid, to keep the masses stupid? I don't know. I don't know. But it does seem as though when you see the drones flying all over the sky and orbs and like all of a sudden they're here everywhere. Some of us have seen these things for years and forever. Then we do know that there is secrets. Secrets, every government has secrets. They separate the people, those that need to know and those that can't know, because they think if us people do not go to work every day and give them the money, the adoration, the attention that they subtract from us, then who will they, the space aliens, the spirits, the guides, the jinn, the angels, the demons, etc., whatever you want to call them, devis, it doesn't matter what they call them, but they're not human, they're non-humans. If everybody was aware of the non-humans moving around us, side by side, would there be a hierarchy? Would there be a man at the top and a man at the bottom and a woman nowhere? Would there be that kind of separation? Would there be that kind of play? I mean, when you have a separation of people, it makes it so much more fun, doesn't it? Fun to like add and subtract and to keep secrets. Secrets are very important in a society, hierarchical society. If you have secrets, you can move mountains. You can move the people with secrets. Because what do they always say about the population? You can't handle the truth. And periodically, we do. And even too, you see these people that do horrendous acts. In New York City a few days ago, some Guatemalan set fire to a woman in a subway car. He just set fire to her and watched her burn. And in fact, he even went over and fanned her a bit to give more oxygen to the fire. Now, who's to say? This man who says he has no recollection of what he did, even though the cameras are everywhere. Now, that's just shows you what surveillance is good for. What if that man actually was a 24 or how many hours in a week? 160 or 260 hours in a week. What if he was a 260-hour clone? What if he was? There are human clones. They've been making clones, I think, for like 100 years plus. They did it with animals. They do it with animals all the time. Sheep, calves, pigs. Now, you know, if they're doing it with the mammals, the two-legged biped, us humans, Homo sapiens, are also being cloned. We know that. We don't have to see them, we don't have to have personal experience in a lab to know that they're being cloned. We are cloned a long time ago. We are, so how do you know the people that do these horrendous acts, horrendous, ugly, 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 ugly acts are not clones? And how do we know our politicians, our leaders of nations, are leaders of nations? It could be my humble opinion, your humble opinion. Well, why can't we talk about it? Did we not all of a sudden talk about cloning is a quiet matter? Quiet, quiet. But you know it happens. You can feel it. Your cells should tell you. And have we been cloned before in the past with prior civilizations that have long since become ruinous? The ancient civilizations of Atlantis, Mer, Mu, 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 that's it. And there's many, many more. We don't know. And yet, we're supposed to be advanced. Advanced for what? Advanced to make us feel happy. Happiness. Our happiness is our ignorance. That's what they say. But for some of us, happiness is having knowledge. To know that there are lots of things that we are not being told. Lots, 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 lots. And then you can think about these, nasty deeds of violence that are all over the world. And even high profile deeds, are they done by real humans or synthetic humans? I mean, Dolly, these sheets, can't say the word, sheeps, these animals, these livestock that are cloned, are they really real? I mean, they're not natural, they're cloned. And even when you get a dog or a cat cloned, all right, so they try their best. And you could say cellular things multiply and you could advance them. Okay, it's almost like test tube babies. True. But a clone is something different. A clone takes something from the original that isn't deceased. It's kind of complicated. Actually, I wouldn't really know unless I studied more about the process. However, a clone is a clone, and there's different lifespans of clones. I mean, a clone isn't meant, a clone can or cannot. How long can a clone exist? A clone of oneself. And you would think of the different things that humans have been subject to, taking their DNA for different tests. That all you need is the DNA of someone to make a clone. Think for yourself and your societies. What has asked for your DNA? Interesting, isn't it? I mean, we have to elevate our thinking. We have to grow our thinking to match the times. We have drones that are going 1,000 miles plus an hour. They're having warfare in the skies over the east coast of New York. Oh, not New York, the northeast coast of, and the southeast coast of USA, and the west coast. And it's all over. It's every single place you can imagine. And are they going to disappear? No, because they're here. Who is they? Well, advanced technology is one thing. We have to have a fresh outlook, a fresh set of something to be aware and something to beware of. Beware of what? Now, if I'm taking a walk at night, I'm taking a run at night, taking a jog. Now, all of a sudden, I'm by myself and I don't feel any danger, but then something's following me above me, right? Some kind of vehicle is following me. That is strange. And it's bigger than like a little retail store drone. Even a drone following me, that's spooky. Now what if the damn thing sprays something on me, drops something on me, and infects me with something? These are all possibilities that could happen and do happen. Hello, Miss Ruby. How are you? Have you seen or thought of anything you could be aware or you should be aware? What can spirit say? Do you jog? Do you walk around? Even it can happen in the daytime. These things are not going to be just confined to the night air. They're doing it the nighttime because they have lights. They have lights, which goes flicker, flicker. Especially, you would think for Christmas too. Christmas. They want to make a handsome sight, so they have lights because you're lighting your tree. The buildings are lit up, and then the nights are lit up in the skies, and they're moving. Oh, that's such a show. That's such a show. But it's more than just a show. It's a welcome mat, isn't it? It's a calling card. It's something that we should be aware of. Now, we don't know that we should be friendly to these things, or we know that it's not a friendly thing because it's too much quiet about it. It's too much quiet. It's too much, I didn't see that. You didn't see that. There's too much speculation. And you wonder if anyone, of course, people have grudges against the United States because the United States is an empire. The United States is a very aggressive country. It's into assimilating and putting colonialistic rule everywhere they can. Colonialistic, you say? Yeah. Even in our Declaration of Independence, we use the word savage Indians. We use the words, too, with people that don't have any property, that came over here as indentured servants, that came over here as help without resources. There's a separation. There is a separation. And they don't talk about it much, but it is. It is. It is. I'm sure in your countries too, there are separations of and people think that they're going to take all whatever they have to separate you from the person next to you. They're going to take it all with them to paradisia when when you leave your body. Or when you leave your body, it all stays here. The earth stays to the earth, including your body. Well, some of us. I mean, some of the prophets in ancient books were spirited away, body and all, their earth suits included. Now, we have to go, Dear Pisces, celebrations. How are you going to? Now, is there anything that you should feel for 2025? There's lots of things for 2025. This is the time that so many psychics, centuries old, some of them, have said, 2025 was some kind of outrageous milestone for humanity. And here we are, still stuck in the same Neanderthal, Cro-Magnon period of understanding. We're still animalistic, barbaric, non-empathetic, stinky. What else are we? And stupid. We are still at this phase. We have not made any progress. Have we? Have we made progress? Ooh, that must be nice. With a sag, huh? That must be nice. Well, I'm glad for you. So, but are you prepared for earth changes? Are you prepared for what? What? They're really throwing every single thing. The soup, the salad, the entree, the dessert, the breadsticks. I'm not hungry, even though I'm mentioning food. In front of our faces, all at once, with no decorum whatsoever. No. And then we're supposed to hate somebody from a different country. This person's from this country, this person's from that country. Okay. Yeah, duh. Now we're supposed to hate each other because we're from different countries. And that we worship what is valuable to one is not supposed to be valuable to another. At the same time, we all need to have a roof over our heads, walls, heat when it's cold, as it is here in the mountains for me, food, and clothing. And they're making us crawl while sneering at us. And you have to think again for these clones, when they show that humans are vile creatures, are they using clones, 24, 72-hour clones, to commit these barbarisms? And then they shoot them. Boom, boom, boom. You can even think of Trump's assassination for the guy who was cremated before any type of autopsy was done, dissection to find out if he was real or not. He was spirited away and put in cremated, incinerated, burned, toasted. But what if that person was a clone? He had served his purpose. It could have been. It could have been. It could have been. And what could have been a discussion is no, it's just oh no, you can't talk about that. You can't talk about anything. You can't talk about hardly anything. I mean, you could talk about your genitals from morning, noon until 24 hours, 24 hours, 7 days a week, because that's permissible. Sex work is where they want to, sex work is where they want to keep the population focused. Like you can take like Trump, all the things that Trump did, for instance. Now, what did they snag him on? Some sort of sex act with a professional escort, a woman who worked in the business. I think she worked in the business. I can't say for sure. I forgot. But he's a male and he was involved in a sex escapade. Now, I'm sure Trump, who a few years ago in the 90s, he was like $90 billion in debt. 90 billion or 9 billion, same thing when you don't even have a million. But yet he got that. He was able to amass that money to save him. And this was in the 90s. He's a money magnet for sure. And then you take Joe Biden. He's the leader of the United States. I mean, how many times has that man walked into buildings, got lost, misspoke, screamed, scratched, and like, huh? And just gave you a confusion. And of course, he's supposed to be the immense leader of the most powerful empire to date. Of course, how long will we have this? Do we still have this? It's all complex. But right now, we're supposed to have contact with what? Space aliens. We have to say space aliens because it could very well be aliens in the United States means they come from Central America, South America, Asia, or Africa. So we have to say space aliens. Now, we don't know where these space aliens come from, do we? Oh, no, I think we did. But we're going to say we don't know. Because I think we have had crashes. We've had a lot of, it's not something new. It was happening in the 1800s. Look it up. In the 1800s, we've had many, many sightings and landings. And before. So we can't act like any of this is new. So, but politicians like to think that we don't remember what happened last week, last month, last year. And I guess that's a misconcept because we do. And what are you going to be aware of? Aware of, first of all, that somebody looks at you and they think that you're stupid. That's one thing to be aware of. Most likely, if it's someone who's a paid, let's say somebody's making six or seven figures a year, and I mean zeros, they're going to be like looking at you a certain way. Now, if somebody only makes $20 an hour or $4 an hour, will look at you in another way from their earning potential or their specific earning spot. So you would think such a person would have a whole list of things to be aware of and a whole things to be aware of. They would differ according to how much fiat money you earned per per month, per week, bi-weekly, right? Right. Now, how are you going to celebrate 2025? Do you have any tribulations or do you have any questions that you would like to ask about 2025 for you? You, you. Do you have anything? Everything is clear or everything is unclear. What can you see for 2025 for you? If you would like me to pull something, we can do tarot, the cards, or we can do oracle cards, and we can get into some sort of trance state. We can see what is spirit have in store for you. Hmm? What? Well, I have listened to a lot of, read a lot of, not listened, read a lot of prophets, a lot of things. And I'm still in wonderment about how, I mean, certain things are common sense. I mean, to me, if you're conducting war on someone, you're destroying them. You're murdering them. You're destroying their cities, their hospitals, their schools, blah, blah, blah. And I don't mean that lightly. But if you're doing destruction, you're asking for the same thing to be happening to you, right? If you're kind to somebody and you give them and you share, you have a sandwich or a piece of bread and you give them half, that's something that will happen to you. But if you steal their bread, they will steal your bread. That's a thing. That's a human condition. It doesn't take any psychicness to figure that out, does it? However, when you're dealing with technology, when you're dealing with advancements, we're dealing with things, creatures, like you take a clone. You take a clone. Now, a clone, it could look like the exact same person that's being cloned from, correct? Now, but that clone can have the biology, but that doesn't have the psychology and the empathy. It has no empathy. It's a thing. It's a thing. These clones that are running around, and clones, like they show you, like Elon Musk is showing us everybody the robot, the 8 feet, 5'8" robot, the black and white robot. That's, 10 fingers, 10 digits, 10 in the hands, 10 in the toes. Now, I don't want that ugly thing around me, frankly. I'd rather take the laziest human person around me, not smelly though, but the laziest human person than have that thing around me. Now, that's the kind of cutesy thing that we're being, us, the masses, are being, look at this huge mess, this huge, not huge Gundam, but a regular sized Gundam that could be, give me my tea, give me my coffee, go get this, go get that. Well, we can order around the house, or clean this, clean that, do this, do this, do that, or walk with me and protect me. Now, that's what we're be giving. That's show. That's the show. That's showtime. Now, you know damn well that those people, if we're being given this crudeness, this candy, robot candy, that the real deals are 1,000 times, they look like us. They look like actual humans, but they're not. You've seen leaders of the United States. They've given speeches. Mitch McConnell, a number of others, that all of a sudden they freeze. And you've seen sports characters on, they're talking and they're, oh, so and so is going to win, and look at they're talking sports talk. Then all of a sudden they glitch. These damn things, these robots, robots, or clone-like robots, robotoids, they glitch. Just like when they make They make scenes of war, scenes of festivities, scenes of a crowd. They glitch. If you get on a machine and you take that video and you slow it down to its slowest, 24 clips in a minute, 24 shots in a scene, each minute, 24. If you slow it down, you could see it's tile based, it's built. You can see how it's built. It's not real. How much of this computer art, how much of this CGI, how much is now the level that we can't tell the difference unless you know anatomy very well. And that neck, sometimes it's very hard to get the neck going. As the neck and the activity. And you know what it's hard to, you can recognize? It's hard to have an action being taken out, being shown to you, and having the speech, the language, the mouth, and the action with a variety of people. There's so many things. And you know what? Very few people, even very few artists, even visual artists, know anatomy. There's 206 bones. 206 bones. No, or it could be nerve muscles. It's 206. 206. You can look it up yourself. But that's a set number. There's only certain ways that the body, the human skeleton, can move and the muscles can move because of the ligaments, their point of attachment. There's perimeters. And with a lot of computer generated things, they do not take that into account. And it's also made by a lot of engineers who do not know, who are not visual artists, that know anatomy. These are all ways that you could tell if something is reality or is it showtime. 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 The same way that they're saying that people in New Jersey, people in California, people in New York, this is USA, are misseeing drones and orbs, plasma covered orbs, as helicopters or airplanes. Well, we should know the difference. Sound, because we still have the sound. We still have our ears. Helicopters are not known to be silent creatures. You can hear those things from far, far away. They are the loudest things. An airplane has a certain type of flight sound, flight view. You can tell the difference. Have a certain speed, and you know what to see if you live near an airport. So there's many things. There's only a certain law of speed and sight and movement that's possible with these type of vehicles, and we're all aware it's our second nature to know these things. It's just like you can tell the difference between a bat and a dragonfly. Same thing. Well, if you would like to have some sort of message from spirit, I'm here. I'm here to see what kind of message for the wealth and what kind of good news. What kind of good news could come your way? There's good news coming too, you know. It's not just all doom and gloom. It's just simply to keep your awareness up. To be aware that we are living in the times we are living in. And that is step one. Step one is to know that these things, clones, drones, Forbes, the law of equal exchange. Treat others as you wish them to treat you. Basic cosmic order. Excuse me. These things are here. These things we should be aware of. These things we should not forget. And we should also remember we're part of the human family. No matter what garments we wear, what language we speak, it's irrelevant. We're not machines. And to think that we have to become machines to have longevity, to have continuance, is absurd. It's an extension of the hierarchical wish that a lot of colonialistic people wish to continue. Somehow, certain people playing with human life, playing with human clones, playing with perception is their best fun. And they wonder just what life would be. They can have no fun without playing, without secrets, without domination, submissive. You know, I was once listening to a conversation that was being taken place, and this was like a conversation that was someone who was talking about high spiritual energy. He came from that source. But yet, all of a sudden, a flicker of some kind of facade, a flicker of his true self was there, talking about how people need to submit to the dominant force, the dominant force of humanity, instead of they need to tighten up and steer people, pounce on them, pounce on the weak, and show them that they were under the care of a dominant force. Now, I thought this was sweet. This is pretty sweet, coming from someone who had the meat suit of someone who you would think that was colonialistic, and yet he had that. He let it slip. He let it slip. His maleness, his arrogance, and his desire for control, even though he himself was rather pathetic. A rather pathetic human being. So, I guess you could say that in terms of being aware, most people who profess arrogance, domination, they have some secret self that they wish to protect you. They want to know you not to know. Not to know. Not to know. Not to know. That's kind of weird, isn't it? It's very weird. Psychology, psychotherapy, there's an ability that we can, what do they call it? What's the word? Help me out here, people. Is it called psychothropic? I mean, it's on the same level of clairvoyancy, telepathy, psychothropic, something like that. Anybody know does anyone know that word? I could look it up. Let me see. I do have it. And this is the whole thing. My contention is, as soon as we educate each other, we help each other. Oh, let's see now. We help each other find our ability. Looking through my notebook, because I wrote it down somewhere. Where is it? Oh, it's hiding. You can hear the pages being flap over. I write a lot of things down because I'm searching. I am really searching. And it's just my style. Where is it? Nobody knows the name of that ability, do they? Oh well. I can't find it. I'll have to make a note. Oh well. I'll have to just say it bites the dust. So, anyway, there are many different things happening right now. I sense, let's see now, let's do something. Do you see something to be aware of let's pick a country. What should they be aware of let's see now, it's the end of the year. I guess now I would say in the New Year's celebrations, public places. Let's take, is there something to be aware of in Times Square? Times Square, New Year's Eve, when they watch the ball come down in New York City. Is there something to be aware of in New York City? Let's see. Now, let me quickly take a shuffle. Is there something to be aware of? To beware of? Is it just going to be is there something to happen? New York City, the ball, 42nd Street, Times Square. I used to think Times Square when the first time I saw it was such a remarkable place. And I did see once the ball dropped, it was freezing cold. Once I also heard someone say, from far, far in the ether, in the skies above the skyscrapers, when I was in New York City, that I was going to be all right. I was having tribulations. I was feeling insecure. It was late at night, or it was 9:10. I was going somewhere, I forget where, but all of a sudden I heard something, a voice speak to me directly from high in the sky. And maybe I was high on the sky, but I don't recall. But I do remember that voice. Now, we're talking about Times Square. Times Square, does anything seem ominous at this point? Take some cards from this deck and see, does anything seem ominous? This one wants to come out, we'll take it. We'll take one more card. Times Square. Tell us something about Times Square. Times Square. All right, we have here the Four of Cups. Well, while people are waiting for the countdown to 2025, should anything happen there? Should anything happen? Countdown. They're waiting. All right, they're waiting. See this? They're waiting. You see that? The wait. Waiting for 2025 ball to exactly say in the United States that the new year has started. And then we have the Page of Wands. It could be ominous, the Page of Wands. It could just be the anticipation of the new year. And then we have the Queen of Swords. Screaming in the new year. All right. So far, now we have waiting. We have the announcement of something fiery coming. It could just be just the end of 2024. But yet we have somebody screaming something for all to hear. Now, what is that? We have here seven. Introspective. Just introspection. Introspection. Assessing. Let's see, what do we have? Just introspection. We have the wait. Possibility of something could happen. I guess. Let's just take one more card from this deck and see if we have the Ace of Cups. Sounds like we might have something to see on that day, on that time. We're obviously going to see something. They're wondering whether to, maybe they're just wondering whether to use it as an opportunity for something. I, for one, will not be going down to Midtown, New York City to go see it. See what? The ball? To hang out with a crowd? That crowd? It's a certain type of person to go down there. But it looks like there could be an event happening, doesn't it? Look at these cards. I'm seeing myself, I'm seeing the atmosphere, jumping ahead in time and space. People huddled together, not being cold, but because they're excited. The excitement of being at Times Square, New York City. Still, people feel excited. And watching that ball drop and the countdown begins. The fanfare, the crews, the production crews, the people, the whole show business, the theater of it all. Looks like it's the atmosphere is set for something. Something. Yes, it looks like. Yes, it looks like something could happen. Something could happen in New York City on New Year's Eve. Something. What is it? Still trying to figure out what to show, what to do. It's too much of an opportunity pass, isn't it? It's too much of an opportunity. Something is that something to be aware of. When you would think in a crowd of people in the city of New York that you would be would be a place to beware of, to beware. But it takes all types to find out what they like. What level of stimulation do they need? How about you? Do you have any type of thing that you feel that spirit could tell you about? The spirit of what? The spirit of caring. The spirit of what you should know. What the spirit of what you need to know. Hmm. Once again, I forgot to put on my sound. I do that from time to time. And what I was saying, we have the spirits. We have this whole thing. You can feel what I'm saying. We're talking telepathically. We have this do not go. Do not go. I'll repeat it one more time. This is all about New York City and New Year's Eve. And I would say, yes, this is the waiting in the crowd of people and watching the entertainment. And then we would have the page of wands. We'd feel all excitement in the air, not knowing exactly why. And then we would have the loudspeaker, the noise, the music. We'd have the Queen of Swords. But we also have an inward message to say, to do. And what is that message that we're waiting for? That we have the fire, an idea of fire. Fire and humans do not go very well. And then we think about the best way to put this fire, of which we get we get the Ace of Cups. Something to be delivered and felt by all who are in attendance. And for those who watch trepidation, we have justice. Do unto others as you wish them to do unto you. We have the law of equal exchange. Basic humans. Basic humans. And then we have here the Two of Pentacles, of which we have teamwork to bring about something that's going to make you feel sad. So I would say, this is not a cup, an Ace of Cups that we should choose to experience. I would say you should be aware of being in Times Square, New York City, on New Year's Eve. Be aware. It doesn't seem like something. It's a perfect place for something to happen. It's not very pleasant. The first thing to do when you want to get something is to manifest it. Manifest it. That's the that's the first thing you should be aware of. When you have to think about it first. You have to taste it, smell it, envision what it should look like, what it should be like, what it should feel like, before you can actually have it. I think that's probably something, it's almost the spirits of an object. Like spirits can be in objects besides being in people, they're also in objects. You can even make something to have like almost like a magical item, something to have a spirit, an essence, a feel to it. Anyone can do that, anyone. But it's something that you perfect as you soar in your abilities, as you increase your sincerity. And you go, what is sincerity? Sincerity is faith, 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 faith. Now, you're always told to have faith in certain things, but you'll often wonder, faith in what? And that's something that you would have faith in a higher power, a better way of living, a better way of living. And I don't mean better in terms of necessarily having more wealth. I'm talking about a more spiritual existence, realizing that we are here for 1, 2, 3 purpose, and not to lose sight of what we're supposed to do, right? Not to lose sight of it. Not to lose sight. It's hard to do sometimes, isn't it? It's hard to manifest feelings of optimism, feelings of security when you don't have it, or but you need it and you know that you are going to get it. That's the important thing, is positive thinking. Positive thinking is an art. Is an art. And it's something that we need to have more of. Too many times we're finding ways, or we're being put into ways not to feel positive, not to manifest a better world, better existence. We're supposed to be full of like a lot of fear, and tribulations. A fear of like too many things. We're to feel, I mean, there are lots of things out there. We know that there's good electricity, bad electricity. Bad electricity, they target our frequency levels. We know all these things. We know them. We know that cell phone radiation, cell phone towers. We know bad food, good food. We know all that. And if we don't know the exact terminology, we know what it does. We know what it does. We're not oblivious to these things, are we? That's why it's important to contact spirit, to directly, honestly. You can try by yourself. You can seek the aid of others. I am here right now to help the journey, to help the passage of spirit to you, to others, to myself, to the ether around all of us. What is what? What is? But if you want something, you need something, you must manifest it first. And how do you manifest something? Well, you think, you feel, you taste, you touch. You can touch something. Like, did you ever touch something? Not just touch something and say, oh, these are cars, but no, touch something, touch. Like I can feel right now. Can you just put your hands out and you could feel, if you were holding a watermelon, let's say, you could feel the watermelon in your hand. Feel it. Feel the green coolness, hollowness sound of the rind. You could feel the juicy red stuff inside if you were holding a watermelon, a small watermelon. I'm not gonna, go colossal on here. Or if you were to feel a lettuce, you could feel a lettuce with your hands and your mind, right? Or if you were to feel the hand of a young child, you could feel the hand, can't you? Feel the hand of someone old and dry, passing. You could feel. If you were to feel the bark of a tree, you could feel it without going outside and putting your hand on a tree. A young tree, smooth bark, an old, ancient tree, a dead tree, an alive tree. See, we have all these, we could feel it. And if we wanted to be, I need to be by that tree full of life, we could feel it first. And then when we finally make it to a tree that we felt that we were meant to be next to, we'd feel something. But it would take that intense manifestation. Try it. That's one way you're able to bring things to you, events, people, feel them first. Feel what you want. It's like it's note taking, but on a psychic, invisible, telepathic, clairvoyant level. You can go, that sounds like crap. That sounds like boo ha ha, boo ha ha. But no, that's how you train yourself. Manifest something first, and then feel it with every inch of your being. And then seek it out and see how close you came and what details you missed, what details you experienced. All those things. All those things. It helps, first of all, to be positive, because then you bring things of light to you. If you're manifesting things of darkness, like if you're a hypochondriac, you think you have an illness, then you bring, and you constantly are harping on something must be wrong, eventually something does go wrong, because you're harboring those elements to come to you. It's the reverse. It's the same type of visualization as the tree and the watermelon, the fruit, the lettuce that I've mentioned before, just recently, just a few minutes ago. Well, if no one wants a reading, no one wants to find out beware and aware, I will go to something else. I will take myself. The hour of aware and beware. I wish all well. Until the next time, have a beautiful day.